In the most famous building in Konoha, an old man, smoking with a smoking pipe, was staring out of the window. Behind him was a table full of papers, which needed his signature. Hiruzen Sarutobi, however, continued to stare out of the window at the fourth Hokage's monument. Today was exactly a year since Konoha had to face the Nine Tails assault. Hiruzen finally let out a sigh. Konoha suffered the most losses of any village in the Third Great Ninja War, due to having to fight every village. And merely a year later, they had to face another assault, which not only killed the fourth Hokage, but also a lot of their ninjas and civilians. This not only increased the burden on him and the existing ninjas, but also caused Konoha's orphanage to be overpopulated.
Hiruzen sighed again, finally starting his day by getting that damned paperwork done.
In one such orphanage, Suzuki Fujin, a 5-year-old orphan, was sound asleep. Suddenly, however, he got up, screaming in pain while holding his head and falling unconscious. The scream woke up his fellow orphans, who alerted the caretaker. "Damn, what the heck's up with this headache? While I did stay up late at night working on that project, I haven't ever suffered such a headache, and it feels like memory is all jumbled up." Slowly, he opened his eyes and looked around, frowning upon noticing the unfamiliar surrounding. What is this? Where am I? This ain't my room. He tried getting up, but suddenly noticed, why am I so much smaller? Did I somehow return to the past? However, his thoughts were broken by 2 kids walking into the room. They suddenly ran towards him, and one asked, "Fujin, are you all right?" Whereas the other one asked, "Why did you yell?" Fujin saw them too, thinking, who are these 2? Wait, I think I know them, but how? Damn, this headache is unbearable, and I need to get my thoughts sorted out somehow. With that, Fujin pretended to fall unconscious again, trying to make some sense of the situation. The 2 kids, however, got worried and ran back to the caretaker. Fuck, I transmigrated and into the fucking Naruto world of all places. But how? I don't even remember dying. Don't you need to die to transmigrate? And damn, transmigrated from that safe world with rules and regulations into this deadly world full of cunning and powerful ninjas. And I got transmigrated into a fucking civilian of all people. After a few minutes of disbelief and ranting, he finally calmed down and decided to understand and plan his future. He thought, all right, I guess I'll be known as Suzuki Fujin from now on. Unlucky fellow to lose his life to someone transmigrating into him. I wonder how that even works. Anyways, I got a lot of information from his memories. His parents seemed to have died in Kurama's rampage, and he was incredibly lucky to live. And damn, after being admitted into the orphanage, he was examined by Root to see if he could be taken in. Lucky me that they didn't choose him. Since Kurama's attack took place a year ago, and since he is 5 years old, it seems I'm 4 years older than Naruto and his generation. All right, that gives me more time to train and gain power. Uchiha massacre should occur after around 7 years, the Konoha Crush after 12 years, and Pain's attack and Fourth Great Ninja War after 16 years. Wait, what's this feeling? At that moment, he felt a weird energy flowing through him. He thought, is this chakra? His memories didn't have anything related to chakra, so does it mean that chakra was unlocked when I transmigrated into him? Finally, some good news. With this, getting into the Ninja Academy should be easier than other civilians. Though I wonder how my chakra level compares to the chakra level of others. Anyways, probably better to get a look at the surroundings first to understand more of this place. After completing his analysis, he finally stopped pretending to be asleep and woke up. After getting up, he could see that it was already evening. The watch showed that it was 6:30 p.m. He also noticed that he was incredibly hungry.
I haven't eaten anything all day. No wonder I'm so hungry. I need to grab something to eat. I also need to act like a kid. I hope no one notices any change in me.
He walked to the door and heard a couple of noises outside. On opening it, he saw those two kids playing with each other. He recalled that their names were Sakai Ichi and Aoki Daisuke.
Both were good friends with Fujin and also shared the room. Ichi had lost his parents in the Kurama assault too, whereas Daisuke had lost his during the Third Great Ninja War.
Yeah, I'm fine now. Sorry about that. Had a terrible headache.
Oh, that's a relief. We were worried about you.
Growling sound.
Guess I'm very hungry. Figures, you've been sleeping all day.
Well, let's go to the mess and see if there's anything there.
I wonder if Naruto is in this orphanage too. On reaching the mess, we saw the caretaker. Her name was Saya. She was a middle-aged woman and also very friendly.
We were very worried about you. We called the doctor to check on you, but he didn't understand what was wrong with you. I'm glad you are fine, but you still have to get checked up once again.
Fujin says, "Thank you, but right now I am very hungry. Is there anything I could eat?"
Yes, the dinner has been prepared. Though there's still some time for dinner to be arranged for everyone, I'll arrange the food for you.
Then Saya prepared a plate for Fujin, while Daisuke and Eiichi went away to play. The food's okay. Not very tasty, but it's all right considering that it is an orphanage. It seems that we are given 3 meals here: morning breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also, lots of fruits are available to eat.
Sadly, meat isn't provided here. Still, the nutrition provided here should be all right, so I could probably get some training done without having to worry about food. Anyways, I should fill myself up.
After finishing the food, Fujin retired to his room.
Well, what a day. Though it's rather tough to act as a kid, luckily no one noticed any difference in me. It's good that there aren't any ninjas in the orphanage.
Fujin says, "Guess I need to think about what to do now. Now that I'm here, I don't want to be a no-name cannon fodder, and my knowledge about future events also gives me a great edge. So how exactly should I proceed forward?" All right, though I know the future events, without having enough power, all that knowledge is worthless. Not to mention, there's no guarantee that things will progress exactly as they did in the manga. It had too many plot holes anyways. And providing someone else with this information is a strict no. They'll just throw me to the T&I department, or in an even worse case, to Donzo. It will also change all future events, depriving me of my advantage. Fujin says, "So I suppose planning for future events can be left to the future, and will depend on how much power I have then. Right now, the main focus should be on improving my power. So how to go about it?" Well, for now, normal jutsus are out of the question. Normal civilians don't get access to jutsus, so jutsus could only be taken from the academy, and I can only attempt to join the Ninja Academy next year. Fujin says, "Even though I know about many jutsus and know what they can do, I don't really remember the hand signs for them. The only jutsu whose hand signs I remember is the shadow clone technique. Sadly, it's a Junin-level technique and dangerous enough to be classified as forbidden. Not to mention, knowing those hand signs itself won't be enough. Until I gain that knowledge, attempting hand signs would be rather pointless. That said, I could try jutsus and training that don't require hand signs. Rasengan, training for elements, and chakra control can be trained." Fujin says, "Since I have unlocked my chakra control exercises would be crucial to do. The only issue is that I don't want anyone else to watch me doing them. I guess I can try to do leaf concentration over the next year." Tree climbing could attract a lot of attention, and with a village full of ninjas, it's impossible to ensure full privacy. Luckily, the first and second stages of Rasengan training can be done in privacy, and so can the first stage of elemental training. Apart from that, I should try to improve my body. Heck, this is probably the most critical. While my physical condition ain't bad, it's not very good either.
Fujin says, so I should start with light exercise to build up stamina and power. I wonder if I could do something similar to Master Roshi's training, and it would be incredibly helpful if I can catch Guy's attention.
Oh well, let's see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully at least this headache will be gone by tomorrow. Concluding his thoughts, Fujin finally went back to sleep.
On waking up the next morning, Fujin looked out of the window to notice that the sky was still dark. Damn, I woke up really early. Seems like it's just 5 a.m. yet. Oh well, I basically slept the whole day yesterday. Little wonder I woke up so soon. Anyways, I suppose I'll have to make a habit of it if I really intend to get strong. On the plus side, the damned headache has finally gone away. He got out of his bed to notice that Eiichi and Daisuke were still fast asleep. Not expecting little kids to wake up anytime soon, he freshened up and got out of his room. He then walked out of the orphanage building. The orphanage had a decent-sized playground for the kids towards the north side, whereas on the east and south sides it had a lot of trees that looked sort of like a mini forest. It seemed that Konoha had a lot of such mini forests throughout the village, and many such areas were used as training grounds for ninjas. Luckily or unluckily, there weren't any such training grounds in the vicinity of the orphanage. The western side had residential areas and a market a few hundred meters away. Fujin says, the forest could potentially provide me some cover and privacy. While it's probably not the best place, it does provide me with an option to do some secret training. Other than that, I'd also need to see if and when I could have my orphanage room all to myself. Anyways, I suppose I should start with some warm-up and see how much this body can be pushed. Finally ending his train of thoughts, Fujin started to stretch his body in order to loosen up the muscles. After around 10 minutes of stretching, he started to run around the playground. In his estimate, the circumference of the playground was around 100 meters. He was able to complete the initial few rounds with ease, but soon started getting tired. After pushing himself to the limit, he was able to complete 28 rounds around the playground.
Wow, I ran nearly 3 kilometers. There's no way I could have run even a kilometer at 5 years old in my previous life. And I don't recall this guy doing any exercises before I took over his body. I wonder if it's due to the bodies of the people in this world being much stronger, or if unlocking my chakra made the body stronger somehow. I'm guessing it's the former, as I just unlocked chakra yesterday. All right, I'll take a short break and get back to it.
After taking a short 5 minutes break, he continued his exercise by doing push-ups. He managed to do 2 sets of push-ups, each with 12 reps. It was followed by sit-ups, for which he could do 4 sets of 15 reps. And lastly, he did pull-ups, of which he could only do 8 reps barely. This exercise did push him a lot, but he didn't push them to the limit, as it had been detrimental to push the body to its limits suddenly. Done with the exercise, he returned back to the orphanage, had a bath, and put on new clothes. He returned to the room to see that it was 7:30 a.m., and his roommates were still fast asleep. Fujin says, interesting. I wonder when they wake up and if the time they wake is consistent. If they wake up only at 8, when breakfast is provided, then it could potentially give me the opportunity to practice leaf concentration early morning without letting anyone know. I should observe them for the next week to confirm it. He sat down in his bed and took one of the leaves he had brought up while coming back from his morning exercises. Staring at it, he thought, there are 5 basic natures that can be mastered: fire, wind, lightning, earth, and water. In order to know my nature affinity, I'll need that chakra paper. But either way, all 5 natures can be mastered by every ninja. In the 4th Great Ninja War, Shikamaru had every ninja perform the Earth-style Earth Wall Jutsu. This implies that the most basic jutsus of the 5 natures could be used directly without mastering the element, like how Naruto did.
Fujin says, however, it'll be even better if all 5 natures are mastered. That would allow more powerful jutsus of all those elements to be used. Given how proficient Hiruzen was, I guess he had mastered all 5 elements. I do wonder what my nature affinity is, though, as that element would become much easier to master.
If I were to choose, my first preference would be lightning. It provides deadly attack, and if I could somehow replicate the way the Raikages use the lightning to boost their speed, power, and defense, then I'd easily reach Kage level in strength.
Fujin says, the next preference would probably be water. While I ain't a fan of water nature, Konoha should have the legacy of Tobirama and his water-style jutsus. If access to them is gained, it can boost my power to Kage level 2. The remaining 3 have their issues.
Fujin says, while Wind style is very deadly and versatile, there isn't a single Kage-level character who reached that stage thanks to his Wind style jutsus. The only one I can remember is Danzo, and he was just ridiculous in that fight against Sasuke. Then again, becoming the first ninja to become Kage level by using Wind style sounds fun. Earth style has good jutsus too, and is probably the best nature after lightning, but almost none are used by Konoha ninjas, so getting access to them will be tough. While for fire style, though fire style had a few jutsus that seemed to be very powerful, it seems that almost all of them are very easy to dodge. The only top-tier fire jutsu I remember is Amaterasu, which I sadly can't use. Only Madara's majestic flame destroyer seemed deadly and could be used by all, but I'm not sure if it'll be available with Konoha or not, and whether a normal ninja could release that huge flame that Madara did. Still, I should be open-minded, as there may be many more jutsus here than shown in the Naruto series. Fujin says, either way, there's not much of an option right now. Of all the 5 natures, I only know the proper training method for wind nature, as it was covered properly. The training for remaining natures will just be a wild guess for me, so probably best to delay their training till the academy starts. Until then, I'll master the wind nature, irrespective of whether it is my affinity or not. Fujin then channeled his chakra and tried to cut the leaf into 2. The training continued without any success for half an hour when a bell rang throughout the orphanage. The bell signified that breakfast was available.
Morning. You woke up early?
Morning. I had slept too early. Probably that's why.
Good morning. It's nice to see you ain't screaming today.
Yeah, whatever. I'll head down for breakfast. Make sure you 2 sleepyheads come down before it's all over.
On hearing this, both Ichi and Daisuke ran to grab their toothbrush. Over the next week, the same pattern followed. Fujin woke up early, did morning exercises, and noticed his 2 roommates only woke up when the bell rang. And whenever he had the opportunity, he tried to cut the leaf.
He also added practicing punching and kicking in his morning exercises. He noticed that Ichi and Daisuke were mostly out playing with everyone else, so the room was empty most of the time. This was especially true after morning breakfast, around 10 a.m. to noon, and a few hours before dinner, around 4 to 6 p.m.
With that information, he finally started practicing the leaf concentration exercise in order to improve his chakra control during that period. Here, a leaf was placed on the forehead, and all his chakra is directed onto the leaf, using it as the focal point. Along with improving chakra control, it also aided in improving concentration. Fujin recalled Naruto, remembering its importance while mastering Rasengan.
Fujin not participating in playing with other kids was suspicious, but thanks to the fact that the orphanage was already overcrowded, no one paid much attention to him. The screaming and falling unconscious event was long forgotten. Only his 2 friends were upset that he didn't play with them much any longer. In order to prevent any more suspicion on him, while doing the leaf concentration exercise, Fujin used to sit on the bed in such a manner that his back faced the door. If anyone abruptly entered the room, he'd instantly stop the exercise and make the leaf not visible to anyone entering the room. Luckily for him, there wasn't much interference. Over the next 6 months, Fujin followed the same routine. His physical fitness, concentration, and chakra control steadily growing. He also noticed that it also resulted in a significant increase in his chakra reserves. Sadly, with nothing to compare, he had no idea how good or bad his chakra reserves were.
On the physical side, he was able to run almost 50 rounds of the playground now. He was able to do 4 sets of push-ups with 12 reps, 5 sets of sit-ups with 20 reps, and 4 sets of pull-ups with 8 reps. He noted that it was much easier to improve physically here as compared to the previous world. When it came to wind nature training, it took him 3.5 months to successfully cut 1 leaf, and only after 6 months of nature training, he was finally able to successfully cut the leaf in one go without any issues. While it did take very long, it was understandable due to quite a few factors, like Fujin just having unlocked his chakra, with him not having any shadow clones to assist, or a great teacher to guide him.
As he couldn't cut off a waterfall to complete the next stage, he just tried cutting tougher materials to improve wind nature further. He replaced the leaf with a small piece of wooden twig and then a branch which were lying around. One lucky instance happened in the 5th month he was in this ninja world. An old couple visited the orphanage and distributed a lot of water balloons in the orphanage. Such instances used to happen frequently. Fujin guessed that they probably were people who lost their children in either the war or the Kurama assault. But this time, it was very beneficial for him. Since he was an orphan and didn't have any access to money, it meant that he couldn't go to the market to buy water balloons to begin Rasengan's training. He took the opportunity to get a few water balloons and hit a few.
With access to water balloons, he finally began stage 1 of the Rasengan training. While chakra shape manipulation was tough, recalling the way Naruto popped the balloon, Fujin was able to replicate the way to manipulate his chakra to apply pressure everywhere in just a couple of days. However, he wasn't able to pop the balloon.
I guess my chakra reserves are too low. I should be able to pop it if I can use more chakra. Oh well, no point in worrying about it right now. But it's probably a good idea to keep practicing this, as it'll help improve my skill at shape manipulation.
A couple of months later, Fujin became 6 years old and eligible to attempt entering the Ninja Academy. The entrance exam for the same was still 2 months away. Upon inquiring further about the entrance exam and its contents, he understood that the entrance exam was rather standard.
It was mostly centered around the physical fitness of the candidates, and they inspected their chakra to decide whether the candidate has the potential to be a ninja or not. Fujin was rather confident in clearing both, so he wasn't much worried.
He just continued his usual routine, though he added throwing wooden shurikens to his training routine. In the afternoons, he started to go into the mini forest. He marked tree stems and tried to hit them accurately with wooden shurikens. This was done in case they added shuriken throwing to the entrance exam.
Sadly, the orphanage didn't have any shurikens to borrow, and being an orphan meant that Fujin had no money to buy them. So the wooden shurikens were made from small branches of trees in the forest by using wind nature to cut them. The carving of wooden shurikens also helped to increase chakra control while using wind nature. Still, the shurikens weren't perfect, but that was the only option he had for now.
Fujin says, "I have all the basics down, so passing the entrance exam shouldn't be much of an issue. However, I wonder if I should start attempting to improve my physical capabilities by aiding them with chakra. I know that chakra could be used to boost speed by concentrating chakra into the legs. Similarly, the power of punches can be increased by gathering chakra in your fists. I need to experiment on whether I could do more push-ups and other exercises if I do them while using chakra to assist those exercises." With those thoughts, Fujin began his experiment. He noticed a significant rise in speed and power when using chakra to perform those activities. However, there were many issues. The first being that it was too inefficient, and a lot of chakra was being wasted. The second issue was that it required a lot of chakra, something his current reserves couldn't handle. So Fujin decided to modify his morning exercises. He decided to keep doing what he has been doing so far, but once he was done with it, he repeated his exercise, only this time doing them with the aid of chakra.
And this benefited him immensely, increasing his physical capabilities and his ability to use chakra, and also noticed a rise in the speed at which his chakra reserves grew. He began wondering why his chakra reserves suddenly started growing at a faster rate.
Fujin says, I think that it is rising due to the fact that I've been exhausting my chakra on a daily basis. Each time I do that, it probably increases my chakra reserves slightly. If my analysis is right, then currently I have two means to increase my reserves. The first is to increase it with a combination of physical exercise and meditation, and the second method is by exhausting my chakra to its limits over and over. I wonder if there are any other means as well.